What you've got to remember about Pontypool. Pontypool is a founder member club of the Welsh Rugby Union, one of only a dozen, I think it was at that time. It's done as much for Wales international rugby teams and British Isles rugby teams as any other club in Wales. And for a period of its history, it was preeminent in Great Britain. No one wanted to play Pontypool. So there's a huge history and a huge respect that that team had for its colours, that you are now going to wear out and have a great men have won those titles, and they won them with pride. And I wish I was running out with him for it, because it'll be a great occasion and a real chance to put us right back on the map.
But knowing that it was one big 80 minutes and ultimately 3 years of work would be defined by an 80-minute match, it still baffles me as to how that was allowed to take place.
Why you play off after 3 unbeaten or 2.5 unbeaten seasons or whatever, I felt a big injustice, the fact that we had to play the playoff.
It's the 3 years of emotions and 3 years of work, and just our frame of mind was we believed we were going to win. At all costs we knew it was going to happen.
It was the biggest game in the club's history for a long time. It wasn't so much for us, it was we wanted to do something for the town, for the community, for the supporters.
Games like this, yeah, will make their memories for you. They'll make them bonds for you. They'll make you super tight, yeah? And when you do retire, when that time comes, yeah, you make sure games like this, you can look these people in the eye how you're going to bump into for the rest of your life, and you know that you give everything out there for each other.
I don't think that we ever thought we were going to lose. You know, obviously growing up in Pontypool, you are surrounded by all of like the stories and all of the legends that played for Pontypool, and international teams used to come down to the park. And when I was younger, all I can remember is like people telling me how much the park would be absolutely like ram-packed, and you know, people would be up on the banks and you wouldn't be able to move.
Yes, marvellous occasions, and when you ran out and saw that magnificent crowd on the bank there, really gave us some excitement. But then the great cries of Pooler, Pooler came, and we used to be frightened to death, but nevertheless, great occasion.
I was at the New Zealand game. I was ball boy in that game.
Kevin Mosley leads out his local band of heroes, really. They'll be this afternoon if they take on these All Blacks.
It used to be week in, week out, you know, every home game, you know, there was always 10, 15,000 there, so the park as full as it used to be, and the buzz and the atmosphere in the games, you know, it was, for a young kid like myself, it was something you probably never experience again.
I was here for the New Zealand game, finished work early, factory shut early for everybody to come out.
60s, 70s and 80s, massive industry, loads of factories, toy factories, and it was in the 60s and 70s been told that Pontypool was one of the richest valley towns in South Wales.
I'm trying to be unbiased now, but if you look at Pontypool, it got the best of both worlds, you know. We got industry here, and you haven't got a couple of miles and you were out into the country, you know. It's a very, very nice part of Wales. No, it's the best part, I think.
In the 80s, when there was the start of the decline, factories closing down, job losses, it was very doom and gloom in Pontypool and other valley towns. But what kept our people passionate in Pontypool was we still had our rugby.
And it's hard to believe what Pontypool means to people. The town has changed so much. You know, there's not so much in the town these days, you know, deprivation in the area. If you win on a Saturday, yeah, it makes people happier. It's in your blood. It's in your blood.
And with industry going and jobs going and people with no money, and then the rugby club, that started to decline.
After 95, the amateur era was ushered out. All of a sudden, plonk, here you are. You're professional boys, good luck. That's when things started to change for a lot of clubs, including the poolers of this world. There was a gradual move after 95 to a reduction in the number of core teams, which of course culminated in the move to regional rugby, where we went initially down to just 5 sides and then down to 4 teams.
Yeah, you understand regional rugby coming in to strengthen things, but club rugby was left behind.
There's a massive sense that Pontypool and many clubs within Wales were very much left behind with the advent of regional rugby, and I think you look in Gwent, the name Newport Gwent Dragons, based at Rodney Parade, the colour scheme was still very much a Newport-centric brand, and it didn't really focus on the people in Pontypool.
The word Newport, I will never say Newport, I would always say Shitport. I would never go to the ground, I would never go to Newport.
The last sort of 15 years have been really, really damaging to Welsh club rugby as it struggled to find its place in the Welsh rugby pyramid. When the Welsh Rugby Union took the decision to restructure the Premiership division again, they didn't exactly do it on the fairest of processes in terms of who actually got demoted in this case, because Pontypool didn't finish in a relegation drop zone.
It was decided then that they were going to cut the league down to 10, then they changed it to 12, so then we found ourselves back in the Championship.
It was the decision taken by the previous shareholders and directors of the rugby club that they were going to take the Welsh Rugby Union to the highest court in the land, the High Court, to try and overturn that decision. But it was really an all or nothing scenario, and unfortunately they came off second best and lost, and were faced with a very hefty court case bill from the Welsh Rugby Union, which had to be settled, otherwise the club was literally days from being liquidated, as a fact it couldn't pay the bill. Several supporters originally paid some of their own hard-earned money, including our president Graham Price, and they, together with my father, saved the club.
Being born and bred Pontypool, to see it like, I suppose, nearly in the gutter was quite tough to take.
I think certainly in our quest to get promoted back to the Premiership, it's not just about getting back to the Premiership, it's about what that represents. It's about showing that this club was never going to roll over and die. It's too big of a historic brand to just give up, and that it was really trying to get some sort of redemption, that this club belonged in the Premiership all along. It belongs there now. We have to reverse the roles again, where we're giving the supporters what they want and what they deserve, and taking this club back to the Premiership.
It's been nearly 5 years since that famous court case when the WRU thought we weren't good enough for the Premiership, but today and this season we've shown we are good enough for the Premiership, and if the union has the bollocks to drop ring fencing, we'll go up there and prove it.
Very proud of their team, delighted to be crowned champions, runaway leaders, but a palpable sense of frustration that they're going to be bouncing against that glass ceiling for another 2 seasons.
Well, it has to drop ring fencing for the integrity of the game.
I don't know if I'd say injustice, I just think it's ridiculous. I think from a competitive point of view, you're asking, competitive players to play in a league where there's no escape from it, there's no promotion, relegation, no jeopardy, I think is the term a lot of people use, and I found that a bit ridiculous.
We had to lay a marker down to show the Welsh Rugby Union and the wider Welsh rugby public that ring fencing is just a terrible idea. So we knew we had to effectively make a mockery of their decision and dominate the league. Just before the 3rd season started, we got notification that ring fencing was going, and that a playoff was being put in place.
Why a playoff after 3 unbeaten or 2.5 unbeaten seasons or whatever? I felt a big injustice, the fact that we had to play the playoff.
It was the biggest game in the club's history for a long time. It wasn't so much for us, it was we wanted to do something for the town, for the community, for the supporters, for everyone who'd done stuff for us over the past seasons.
3 years, yeah? 3 years you've been building up for this game. 3 years we've been putting in performances week in, week out, yeah? And you've been making everyone proud, yeah? The whole town, supporters, your families. This game, yeah? Make it about you. Make a memory for you, yeah? Most of us are local, most of us are living local. In 10, 15, 20 years time, you're going to bump into each other, yeah? Will just be that eye contact. Because games like this, yeah, will make their memories for you. They'll make them bonds for you. They'll make you super tight, yeah? And when you do retire, when that time comes, yeah, you make sure games like this, you can look these people in the eye, yeah, who you're going to bump into for the rest of your life, and you know that you give fucking everything out there for each other. everything you got, you make sure you put it out there for each other. Yeah? No one knows how long they got left playing this game, no one knows how long they got left in this club. So you make these fucking moments happen out there today and carry it for life, yeah? Life with each other. Make it happen. If we do that, we get a W.
Look at me, look at me. One fucking shot we got. One fucking shot we got 80 fucking minutes. 3 years we fucking worked for this. 3 fucking years. Empty the fucking tank to the 40, come back and then reevaluate. Then we empty the fucking tank again. Got it? Yeah.
We start strong, we start fast, we're switched on.
Billy said,
we don't give them no fucking easy tries, yeah? Hey, they work for fucking every yard they have, yeah? No easy fucking outs.
1, 2, 3, Let's go, boys!
Pontypool unbeaten in the National Championship. Llanelli 5th from bottom of the Principality Premiership. 1 to play in the revamped Premiership of 12 next year. All down to this game. Goes a long way round. Ooh, now this could be interesting. No nonsense from Nigel. Yellow straight away. Nigel will need the assistance from Adam Jones and Richard Brace this evening, because Pontypool are not holding back. Behind the defence, and there's Lloyd Lewis. He's first to the ball, watches the bounce, but then misses it. And Ryan Davis, Darren Hughes for the try line. Kieran Meek puts over the first point to the blind side. They go, Johan Hughes, and in the corner. Oh, he's lost it. He's Kieran Meek, puts over his second penalty. Pontypool go ahead by 6 points to 0.
There's 13 in there.
Up to the try line they go. Can Davis get the ground is the only question. Yes, says Llanelli. Yes, says Nigel Owens.
It's just what Llanelli needed before half time as well. Just 60 seconds left.
The big prize of the final place in the Principality Premiership. Very much at stake.
I think as things started to open up a little bit, we were getting tired. They, you know, where the game got a little bit more loose, that suited them down to the ground.
Steps on the gas.
Oh, Lloyd Lewis, what a tackle!
You know, cracks started to appear, and then they started to capitalise massively on our fatigue.
Patience on the ball for Llanelli now, really try and stress this Pontypool defence. This is superb recognition.
It could be on here. And it has Ryan Conbeer on the end of that one.
Our kind of heads dropped then, and it was tough then. I felt then that, you know, the boys were a bit spent, and I felt as if Llanelli went up a gear.
Bursts through, look for support, and gets
You're not catching him. Lee Rees is in.
Lee Rees is going to go all the way, and now it looks safe and sound for Llanelli in the Principality Premiership next year.
We didn't really match that gear they went up to, and for whatever reason that was, you know, I felt we were kind of slowly losing our footing in the game, and there was only one way the result was going then.
We did claw back try, I think, but I think that we knew the game was lost with a good 10 minutes to go.
Llanelli don't even want to give them a sniff as Lampit in the shadow of the Llanelli posts. Matthews, the skipper, thinks he's got there. Scott Matthews gets Pontypool's try, but it's taken them 77.5 minutes to do so.
Just the feeling was, I can't even begin to describe. It was not a great feeling.
It's been a real tough battle, and then you pull him down. But Pontypool's effort to get back to the top flight of club rugby in Wales has fallen just short.
3 years of hard work just gone down the drain, like just completely wasted.
And in the end, Llanelli were just too good, just too strong. They've won by 27 points to 16. Llanelli will be in the Premiership next year.
We were all completely crushed. We felt like we'd let everybody down. Leighton gave his speech, and then my dad said a few words, and then I said a few words.
We made a promise to you boys a couple of weeks ago, but no matter what happens, this is just the fucking beginning of this story, yeah? Everybody knows how much work you've put into this over the last 3 seasons. You know how much of a long journey this has been, but as we've said and we'll continue to say, I would not fucking change a thing in this dynamic, right? If we could have done what happened with that team tonight, or do what we did as a team, I'd pick this every single time and fucking lose. Because what we've got here is this, yeah? And that's worth more than any fucking professional contract or anything else. And we will never, ever, ever fucking abandon those principles.
In amongst this time, with every passing minute, more and more people surrounded us. And you'd never ever know that we were the team that lost that game.
Pride I have, the pride everyone here has, fucking, it's like we won. And we fucking won tonight. Pontypool fucking won. There's 3 days. And we go fucking to the Premiership. And we'll do it together, because that's what Pontypool is all the fuck about.
When the huddle finished, we turned around and saw that there was probably 200-300 people surrounding us, cheering us on, thanking us for the work we've done over the last few years.
We all cried, we all shed a tear. It's just the epitome really of what a team is, and you know, it was very warming, it was lovely for the players, and it just showed how much it meant to everybody.
It was tough, it was really tough. Looking around, there was a lot of management crying, players crying, supporters crying, and at that time I think you kind of need a cool head, and you need to kind of gather your emotions, and you need to kind of, you know, drive the club on in them situations. So for me, it was, we've lost the game. Let's look forward now to next season. Let's try and stick together on this one and kind of deliver what we failed to deliver this season for, you know, the people who mean stuff to us.